Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or older in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard.
I'm out of breath listening to that again. Hey, I can see the timer. That's kind of a neat.
Oh, you
thing.
Can? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to see it.
I didn't know.
Welcome to this week's episode of Stay Off My Lawn. It is March 7th, 2026, and this is episode 157.
Yes, it are. It's we've been I haven't done anything with you in 8 weeks, and I haven't been on the show in 6 weeks, so we're getting back to where we need to be. You had old parts removed, and I had new parts added. Well, one old part removed.
Yeah,
I wasn't using it anyway.
You had your crankcase oil changed, and I
That's right. I had a ball and socket with a tie rod end, if you're wanting to know.
I had the metal shavings taken out of my rear differential. So yeah, it was I've got room for storage. Like
there you go.
So I can carry my phone around without it dragging my pants down now. So
yeah, I don't have much of a butt on the right side anymore. It's like, where did my rear haunch go? Let's just call it that.
Yeah, rear haunch. That works.
Does that work?
So, hey, it's good to be back. Wasn't sure we were coming back, but things got better over the last few weeks. And, so we are back. My voice was gone for a long time.
Yeah, you were a little raspy when we just kind of had a chit-chat session last week, I guess. It was like catching up. We hadn't talked to each other. My computer had been off solid, not even in sleep mode. I haven't touched this PC for a month.
Yeah.
And now it's got a new router, and I'm having to reset everything up in the house, and oy vey. So we're up and running, and there's been some new additions. I don't know if this backwards timer clock is going to stay on there for the recording. We'll find out today.
We'll see. I mean, if it stays, I don't care. It's a nice blue color on my end anyway.
Yeah, it's what it is on mine is blue as well. It's I need to turn off mirroring so that you can read it the right way.
It is right over here.
Is it right for you? Oh, then I don't care what it is for me, because I've got it in 3 spots.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's up above, it's to the right of my head, and it's also on a big black spot right.
So you don't have to get reminded to set up your clock. Your clock is already there.
As long as that's on and it shows up all the time, what the hey? We'll just go with it. We're trying new things because in 6 weeks, there's been some improvement, shall we say, updates. This is actually an update. It's not, and then they've also done the updates that both Mike and I hate, where all they did was move stuff around. Yeah. That's not an update. You moved
everything to the left of your screen, and it's new and improved. No, it's just to the left of my screen now.
Yeah, it's not new and improved.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, anyway, what they pay us for, I guess we ought to.
Now, what we get the big bucks for.
Right.
Oh, thanks so much, Steve. He welcomed us back. Wasn't that nice? Yeah, he wasn't sure he was going to still have a job or not. I think he'd already filed for unemployment when you were in for surgery, and then I had Brad. I want to thank Brad Storm for setting in for 2 weeks and doing the show. And we kind of kept it going for 2 weeks. And then I got a 5-day notice. By the way, your surgery has been moved up 3 weeks. You need to show up Monday at 5:30 in the morning. It's like, what? This was on a Thursday. I was told to be there.
Yeah.
In the morning on Monday. So, yeah. Anyway, Brad was awesome. I so appreciate. He's a great listener and a good friend of ours. And that was awful nice of him to say, hey, if you guys need me, I'll step in and help out for a bit. So.
Yeah. And since then, we've had to remove him completely from the podcast. So, I mean, he's a very good guy. He's always been good to Richard and I. So, and he's very smart. He was a good fill-in. It was perfect.
Yeah, he was great to share with, and trying to do all the things and getting stuff put together. And to help him out, I would send him, this is what we're talking about here. These are the clips that I'm going to be playing, so that he had an idea of, oh, we got this and that coming up, and it worked out really well. He was happy with that format. So
Yeah. Um, so anyway, a couple of quick news stories we want to get to.
oh, do we talk about the news on this show?
We do. Every once in a while, we throw it out there. Um, the U.S., after the National Guard has helped out tremendously in some of our most dangerous cities, and now has the lowest murder rate that we've had since 1900. 125 years. We're looking at last year's numbers. Um, I mean, and Trump isn't doing anything. I've had people tell me it's like he's not doing anything I asked him to do. And the thing is, a lot of people want the mass deportations and everything, and I like that too. But I mean, you you got to somehow take the good, because if Kamala had gotten elected, imagine where we'd be right now. We
Oh,
would have,
there
still
would
have an
still
open
be
border.
millions
Yeah.
coming across the border.
We'd
So
have another 10 million people in here that are going to be counted, would have been counted in the census, and would have gained new congressional seats. And it would have been a bigger mess than what we had just over a year and a half ago. So anyway, Washington, D.C. and Memphis, two specifically cities that had very high murder rates. I think they were big contributing factors to having the whole U.S. murder rates go way down. Memphis is down 40% just in the last month or two, I think. It's incredible.
oh yeah, it's dropped huge, and LA even had kind of a slow up there for a bit, and we may need to go back there again too.
Yeah, yeah.
So California's
Chicago?
having lots of other issues.
Yeah, I mean there's still a few more cities that probably need some attention, but yeah, who would have thought that just bringing in the National Guard just to help out the local police. It's not like they were taking over, not like they were, arresting people on the street or anything. Not like these weirdo protesters like to say. I mean, they're just going in and supplementing the police force, and that's really all it took. Washington D.C. is as safe as it's probably ever been right now. And
Well, the left is all having issues with the deaths that have occurred, and one of the deaths that happened was a mishap in trying to get a plane. There was a operator error, if you will, but there were more people last weekend were unalived, so we don't get taken off of.
yeah,
Yeah, in Chicago than have passed from the Iran war. So
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, well, and we'll get to a little bit of that about the Iranian war too. One other news story, real quick, is the federal government. Read this a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, has the least amount of employees since 1966. So we're heading in the right direction as far as that goes. I've always said that we have too much government, and that's conservatism 101. We want less government, and less government employees, the less government gets involved in your lives. So I mean,
well,
that's
Biden hired thousands upon thousands of federal employees, and then say, look at what the employment rate is. No, no, that doesn't help the employment rate. We have to pay for those people, so it does nothing for the economy. It's like, we hired them, now we have to pay them, so there's no money saved at all, and it just is a mess.
now those
So
IRS employees never got hired, right? The
I don't
57,000.
think I think that got stopped right quick. So
But why
anyway,
would they want to hire the so many IRS employees?
well, let's see. I'm a conservative. You're a conservative. There are lots of conservatives in the Senate and the House whose
Yeah,
phones were tapped. So,
yeah, no, that's true too. But they like to paint the picture that they were going to be going after the the richest 1% of Americans. You don't need 57,000 people to go after those 1,000 people. I mean,
87,000 people.
Was it
He
87?
wanted, yes, he wanted to
Oh,
hire 87,000. Oh, and taxing the rich. Let's see. Let's ask Chicago, California, New York,
New York
how,
is
and Massachusetts now it's affecting them. Let's find out how that's working out for them. Just keep taxing those rich. Oh,
they got
wait,
our
they left and took all their jobs with them? Oh, no, 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 you need to come back. We need your money.
I
Not
think
we're going to fix things.
I
You
think on the
just
last
need to come
episode
back.
you and I were together, we played Kathy Hochul saying, "Hey, if in 2022, if you want to go to Florida, go. You're not a New Yorker and get out of here.
You don't belong here anyway. Get in your cars and go to Florida.
Your rich people should come back." Now her tone is completely changed because we're very generous in our social programs and we really need the tax money. Screw you. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Oh,
got in the best.
it's not about we're going to fix things, we're going to reduce stuff. No, we just need you to come back and pay us again.
Yeah, so we can give away more
No.
money.
Yeah.
New York City is in big trouble.
Oh,
Big trouble.
I just heard this last week that they've been given a warning and their credit rating is going to drop. Now, when that happens to a big city or a state, wow, because your interest rates go stupid and you got lots of other problems when that happens. And New York is on the verge of, if you can't fix this pretty soon, we're going to reduce
Yep.
your credit rating.
I heard somebody get interviewed the other day. They said that 5,000 people in the last year or so have retired or left the police force in New York City. And Mamdani had promised that he was going to hire 7,000 people, and it's been zero. I don't think anybody really has been, they haven't replenished that 5,000 loss or anything. I mean, so they've got less people monitoring. I mean, the crime is bound to go through the roof. It's bound to. And that's 8 million people. That's a lot of people to put at risk like that. And
Yeah.
so you're going to see
And they can't get
who can
anybody to
afford
take
it.
the job when he posted. He was trying to pay people, which is still funny. I think that was one of the last things we did also. Pay people to shovel snow, and you had to have two forms of ID to just shovel snow.
You don't need it to vote. Don't worry about voting. It's got to be okay.
Yeah, I saw a guy after the last election that was walking along and somebody was filming him or whatever. He goes, "Oh, I'm headed to another precinct. I've voted 3 times already and I'm going to go vote again."
Goodness gracious. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll keep you up to date on that as that moves along. I'm sure everybody has heard about the second crew member that's been rescued from the downed F-15 fighter over in Iran. Now we find out the Iranian government was looking for him almost immediately when they found, obviously, they found out very quickly that there was a second crew member. F-15s have two people, but not, the Iranian government may not know there it was even an F-15. So anyway, they knew that he existed almost immediately.
Yeah.
The
They
president,
didn't say how many crew members. They didn't say that they already had one. Nothing. But there was a news agency that reported it, and it's like, well, if you knew and it went out, and Trump is just, what's the Southern term? Fit to be tied.
yes, he was.
Madder than an old wet hen.
Here's what he sounded like, and the heads are going to roll, I think. So here's what he sounded like yesterday.
As you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker. And talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about.
How in the world, though, if you're a journalist and with I don't know, with any sense of love of country, and put a military member at risk by leaking such a thing for political expediency against a president you can't stand? Come
Well,
on.
it's a president you can't stand, and it's also, they don't care if it puts somebody else at risk. We got the story first. Look what I did. Well, you're about to get what is it? 3 hots and a cot in the Gray Bar Hilton.
I
All
would hope
expenses
so.
paid.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope they eat nothing but bologna sandwiches for the next 20 years. But
Uh,
you know, I guess it's one of those things that reminds me of. Do you remember when they had that big ricin scandal where they were sending Congress people the ricin and the other what was the other stuff?
Anthrax.
Anthrax. I remember seeing the UPS CEO being interviewed on national television. This is back when I had cable. National television and say, "Yeah, we don't look at packages when they send it. I mean, we don't inspect everything. We just kind of, we don't have time for all that." So basically what you were saying is that this is for you. If you want to use a UPS, go ahead. We don't look at nothing.
Yeah.
Why would you say something like that? Now I'm an uneducated, dumb Southerner, but I mean, you want to go on national television as a CEO and say you've got free reign with UPS, do whatever you want. It's the same thing. I mean, you're broadcasting. I don't know. I just don't understand. No love of country. That's what it is.
Yeah. They want to see us, and the amount of false propaganda that's being pushed right now is ridiculous on all this. Well, it's going down, they're a bad country, but we're losing. We are? What are you looking at? Huh? Like you said, I'm a backward old Idaho hick boy, and I'm going, you don't destroy everything and have air superiority and be losing.
No, no. And that's the thing. Hopefully, in a couple of weeks, this is over. Our gas prices start going back down. Strait of Hormuz gets opened. It was a great truth that the president put out the other day. If you're not on Truth Social, you need to go see what he put out there. He put out a message to Iran saying, "Open the Blanken Strait," or he said by this evening at 8 o'clock. If that doesn't get resolved, supposedly there's going to be hell to pay.
Won't be much of an Iran left.
Yeah,
their infrastructure will be gone. There will be no bridges. There will be no power. There will be nothing. And what are they going to do to stop us? Because they don't have an air force. They don't have a navy anymore. They don't even have hardly any of the fast boats because the A-10 Warthogs, which come from here, we have a lot of those here, and have been and sent over. They don't have anything left, but they keep puffing their chest out like, "Oh, you got nothing." And the people in their what is it? The Iranian Red something Guard.
Oh, the IRGC.
Yeah, the IRGC they're defecting, and they're actually having civil war stuff with each other. People have been in the streets, and they're being protected by those that have defected from the IRGC and want freedom.
And again, just like the Ukraine-Russian war, it's the people that pay the price. And the people of Iran, the good people of Iran, are paying a price for this, like you said, the puffing out their chest of their leaders and saying, "Come get me, boy." However they're saying
it. You asked.
Yeah.
We aim to please.
Gird up your loins. It's coming. So, anyway.
We'll find out tonight on that. Anyhow.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird 24 hours. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. We'll have updates for you next week, of course. And of course, here in the U.S., no King's protest from a couple of weeks ago. We're still getting.
You know what? That no King's protest worked. We still don't have a king.
Still do not have a king, and King Charles is still one of the wimpiest guys on the planet. So, I mean, if there is a king somewhere, I mean, it's But anyway, the man on the street interviews are still coming out, and I saw this one yesterday. This one is from Houston, I believe it is, and she was asking pointed questions, and the typical answers were coming back. Here we go.
The fact that he was democratically elected, even won the popular vote, how does that make him a king?
It doesn't make him a king. It makes him a president, not a king.
Well, this is called no kings, so what does that mean to you?
It means we got to get rid of him. He's not a king. It's a democratic process, and we've gone that route with him. Now he's acted like a king.
Can you give me a specific example?
A specific example? Well, there's a million of them all put together.
There's so many.
There's no one example. It's exactly.
Just one or two?
There's more than one or two.
So can you give me one or two examples?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I can, I guess. I'm just at a loss of thought on.
Let's go to somebody
There's
else.
a lot of things. I can't really.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
I know what Biden did. I don't agree with all of it, but this is way worse than any other president.
What makes it worse?
In this country? You can't see that. I don't have anything more to say if you don't know.
What makes President Trump a king?
Himself.
What specific policies or actions?
Oh, everything that he does. The man's a fascist.
Can you give me an example?
Boy, of everything that he does. I mean, just tries to put his name on everything.
What specific action or policy is the Trump administration acting like a king?
He wants to be a dictator. He loves dictators. He wants to be a dictator, and
Didn't he just remove a dictator from Venezuela?
he went in and stole them.
So he was not a dictator in Venezuela?
He was.
So he removed a dictator.
Has disappeared. There are people that are American citizens that immigrated to this country illegally, and they're gone. Some people.
Can you give me a specific example? Because I'm not aware of any American.
You're not
citizen-
aware of that? It's being
No,
in the news.
can you give me a
It's on the
specific
news.
example?
There.
Donald Trump rapes children.
Of an American-
It's a setup. What you're
No,
doing.
I want you told me an American citizen has
I
been
can look it
deported.
up, but
That's a big claim. I just want to know.
There are several of them.
No, there's several of them, but I just can't give you any names.
There just isn't any. They keep repeating the BS that the news media is the one that's at fault for all of this, because the misinformation and disinformation they continually to put out there, well, let's just call it what it is, the basic flat out and out lies that are being told. These TDS people, Trump derangement syndrome folks, go, what? He said that? Okay, I'm going to repeat that 40 times because that's really good info. And none of it's true.
I saw a meme yesterday. Is a bunch of people dressed in sheep costumes with their eyes really big, going, "This is TDS people waiting for the media to tell them what to think next." But it's the same thing. He even said it's all over the news. Well, if it's all over the news, it's got to be true.
No, that's the problem. No.
It just saddens me. And these are not young people that was in this video. These were people. I think the youngest person probably looked about maybe mid 40s, and the oldest person was easily in their 60s. So I'm like, these are not young brains full of mush. These are people that should be able to think critically. I don't know.
What did somebody say? It was the flower people who protested in the 60s were reliving their glory days. Yeah. Because there was a lot of them that were in their 70s and 80s. They were walking along shuffling. Well, I think I can last another 3 or 4 blocks. It'll be lunchtime soon. It's 10:30.
What do you mean? He's a fascist. I gotta get. Where's my check? I gotta get it. They told me they'd pay me to hold this sign.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Funny how they all immediately have signs that are all pre-printed and all look the same all across the country. How does that happen? And that isn't free. Ain't nobody doing it for free.
That is incredibly, it's just coincidence.
And somebody said they were downtown Boise when they had their little, and our little news media goes down. Oh, and there were maybe 100 protesters downtown Boise. And somebody said they were down there, and they said the Oregon license plates were everywhere.
Oh, really?
Who paid him to come over? Now there were, and then there's some. I'm from here. You are? How long have you lived in Idaho? You've been here all your life? Well, I was in California and we moved up 2 years ago.
You should be required to carry a potato in your pocket just to prove it. But how in the world do normal functioning brains not see that these people are shipped in around in Atlanta? They're shipped in. When they get arrested back in 2020, when they arrested a bunch of people and they burned down that Wendy's. I don't know if you remember that one. They burned down a Wendy's that had just been built not long ago. Anyway, they arrested a bunch of people. 80% of the people they arrested were from out of state. And it's like, how in the world do you not? And they actually announced that on the news once. They're not going to go over it again.
Oh, whoops, we don't want to repeat that one.
No, they're going to bury it in page 12 below the crease. But anyway, yeah, it's the No Kings thing. I think a lot of people are just weary of it. I'm tired of the whole thing.
Well, and it was they were saying, oh, there's millions and whatever, and a lot of the pictures they were showing of the protest were from 2 years ago. Other gatherings of people had nothing to do with it.
Kings. Yeah.
Nope, because the number of people that showed up, it was a flop, and it got virtually no time. The news media kept pushing it, but they didn't have any time.
They're going to bury that too. So yeah. Hey, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about a scandal. Not the RNC, the DNC. The RNC has its own issues, but this is the DNC scandal. You're going to like this too. Well, you're going to hate it, but you're going to like it. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
This is the Stay Off My Lawn show and podcast. The grumpy old men you know and love. We'll be right back.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Really, Really, Really Bad Dancer.
Mr. Really, Really, Really Bad Dancer.
Arms swinging, knees bending, head bobbing to no particular rhythm. You're either dancing or having a seizure.
Call me a doctor.
As soon as you hit the dance floor, the taunts begin. Is that all you got, playa? Unfortunately, yes. That's all you got.
Pour it on now.
Who's in the house? Some guy who can't dance. That's who's in the house.
Your star.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Happy Feet, because you really put the oogie in boogie.
Mr. Really, Really, Really Bad Dancer.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh yeah, I had this though, and I try not to listen to those before we put them in the breaks, just because I want to have an organic response.
Yes, I never listen to them either because I don't hear them till you play them. Oh my God, it just reminded me of there was somebody that goes, yeah, when I get on the dance floor, I like to do the white man's overbite, and I went, what?
Oh gosh, I'd rather just sit on the side and laugh. I'm not a dancer.
I've been in way too many musicals and had to learn to do all kinds of. I've learned many dance steps that I would have never thought I would have learned.
When I was a single man in my early 20s, I was a 6 shots tequila dancer because that was the only way I could get out there. And normally 6 was probably a little bit too much, and I was a little too loose, and it was like just like what he described. Anyway.
Yeah, well, because of all the theater stuff, I've learned to do the polka, the waltz, Russian dancing. That was hard. Myself and another gentleman, we were in school together, and we did mime things together, and we were kind of our personalities, but when we did that stuff, it was always worked, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, all kinds of. I learned all kinds.
But there's no video of any of that, so. Yours or mine. So, yeah.
I don't think anybody took video of those shows 40 years ago.
Yeah. I didn't know anybody that could afford a video camera back then. So, I mean, that was a lot of it. Since the election season is just about upon us, let's see how they can cheat in the upcoming election, since they're probably not going to pass the SAVE Act. I think that's probably dead. But the New York Times, of all people, have reported that there's some scandal in the DNC. Who would have guessed?
I never saw that one coming.
Our friends Mock and Daisy over at Chicks on the Right talked about this the other day. Here it is.
The New York Times. So they reported that Act Blue lied to Congress about vetting foreign donations. So according to the New York Times, foreign donors who paid through third-party apps like Apple Pay, PayPal, or Venmo were not asked for passport information. And they went on to say, federal election law prohibits foreign citizens or people who are not permanent residents from donating directly to federal candidates or PACs lying to or obstructing Congress is a crime.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it gets worse. This guy, Parker Thayer, also said turning off foreign donations wasn't the only thing that Act Blue was lying about. I called this back in 2024 when they told Congress that they had disabled donations from untraceable gift cards. Only problem is I donated to them with a gift card after they supposedly did this.
Wow.
Act Blue responds, and they totally tried to downplay it. And the chairwoman, this chick named Kimberly Peeler Allen, said in an interview that, quote, less than 1% of contributions from the 2024 election cycle had signs that they were from foreign countries. The problem with that is that 1% is still $38 million. So you can't downplay that.
Oh, yeah.
You know
I mean, it's just 38 million, you guys. I mean,
what?
It's just it's chump change.
Chump change. Yeah. By the way, this guy, if you want to look it up yourself, Parker Thayer, the guy that they mentioned, he's an investigative researcher at the Capitol Research Center. So just do a little bit of Googling. You'll be able to see all of his reporting on this. It's fascinating and it's stomach turning at the same time.
It's the Democrats they're not getting donations. They're not I'm not hearing that anymore. They've stopped telling that, but I did hear a story about it without all the news stuff saying, well, and the Democrats are having problems, so you need to. No, they're just not getting it because all their slush funds have been removed. USAID that was going out and coming back, and you had some other stuff, and then the Act Blue stuff that was, I hate to say it, but they've traced about half the money going in there from China.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? But I mean, call it what it is. They've eliminated, or the federal government has tried to eliminate all the money laundering schemes that was funding the DNC, and that's like USAID, and China's been involved for a long, long time. And if you don't believe that, you need to get out of the rock you've been living under, because it's there's no way you can deny it. And Russia, I mean, everybody has been involved in this stuff, and it's all about
Soros and Alex Soros, and you've got what is that guy's name that's in China that was an American? He was a tech guy, and he took he's a billionaire, and he's living in China, doing funding all this stuff that's still going on. So
that reminds me too of Eric Swalwell, who's trying to run for governor of California. Fang Fang is back in China.
He's in trouble. And do you know that he's going to sue the FBI if they release that information? This is government info. Sorry, but it's free source, so you don't get a choice in the matter on that.
That reminds me too. Speaking of corruption, especially in California. JD Vance was put in charge of this whole fraud thing for all the states. And I think hopefully he does a good job with all this, but supposedly in California, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know you read about this too. They've already found $146 billion in fraud.
That's close. I had 148. It makes what happened in Minnesota look like chump change compared to it's ridiculous.
And in California, instead of it being a Leering Center, it's hospice centers in California that came to the
and
surface.
they had a 97% survival rate. Wait a minute, you go to hospice because you got one foot on a banana peel and the other one's over the grave, and
the average person lived 5 years in these hospice centers. 5 years. Most people don't make it 5 days. A friend of mine went to hospice. He died the next day.
Yeah. I mean, if you 5 months, 5 weeks, I mean, it's like, that's a long time when you hear hospice, it's not long after that you hear that they've passed.
They're just there to comfort you in your last few days.
Yeah.
It's not a long-term thing. 5 years and that was average.
Yeah. I know. It's like, it's you're not there to go and get care. That's not what hospice is. I mean, you might have some things that turn around at the last minute. There might be some stuff. It does happen from time to time.
But it's very, very rare.
What did they say it was, like 5% or less or something like that? Not 95%. for 5 years.
Incredible. It's incredible. But hopefully they get to the bottom of all this corruption. And I don't know, we've only got 2.5 years left of the administration, so I'm not sure. And this whole thing with Iran, we talked about it earlier. I was talking to my daughter-in-law about it the other day. It's like, from the surface, not even just the morality of the whole thing, but from the surface, the political expediency of the timing of this before the midterms. If we don't get this wrapped up very quickly, I think the midterms are going to be a disaster for the Republicans. Absolutely.
Well, they're already calling for Thune's head, as in get him out. We don't want him in. He has shown his rhino stripes, and the other ones, they're not going to have a job in Congress pretty quick because people are not tolerating that. And by the way, I forgot, in California, the $148 billion in fraud was just in LA County. That's not the whole rest of the state. Yeah. That's how sad it is. You think it's only to that little area? It's not.
You got to think the population of LA County is probably more than the whole state of Minnesota.
Well, it's more than the country of California has what, like 30 million people in it or something like that, 35. That's all there is in Canada is 30 million.
But I think Gavin Newsom might be brought up on charges because I bet he's knee deep in that stuff.
Oh, how else did he afford a $9 million house when all of a sudden he just was able to pay?
As governor, you don't make that much money.
No.
Just like as president. Even if he made $400,000 a year like the president is supposed to be making, and he donates that anyway. But I mean, $400,000 a year, you can't. It's like Ilhan Omar. All of a sudden she's worth $30 million where she was in the hole a couple of years ago.
Yeah, was only worth like, what was it, 45,000 or something her husband was, and then within less than a year he's worth 30 million. Wow.
Yeah. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Oh gosh. Well, anyway, everyone is talking about the NASA mission going around
NASA?
NASA.
With Nancy old nuts?
Now, Artemis 2 or 11, as the kids call it, is Artemis II. And as cool as that is, of course, the race baiting media just can't help themselves. They asked the pilot of the mission, the leader of the whole thing, his name is Victor Glover, how it felt to be the first black astronaut to visit the moon. Oh, for goodness sake. Here's his brilliant response, though. He was the guy.
He did
quick
fantastic.
Yeah, here it is.
It is a big question, and I want to highlight, I guess, maybe one facet of this is the tension, I call it. I live in this, this dichotomy between happiness that a young woman can look at Christina and just physicalize her passion or her interest, or even if it's not something she wants to do, she can just be like girl power, and that's awesome. And that young brown boys and girls can look at me and go, hey, he looks like me and he's doing what? And that's great. I love that. But I also hope we are pushing the other direction, that one day we don't have to talk about these first, that one day this is just, and I listen to this, that this is the human history. It's about human history. It's the story of humanity, not black history, not women's history, but that it becomes human history.
Yeah, what a perfect response. God,
just couldn't be better. I get so sick and tired of hearing that, and the NFL's got their funds in hot water. There's some suits that are coming for the crap that they pulled for the last Super Bowl halftime, and all the other stuff that they're doing is not going over well. They thought they could sue Kid Rock for doing a different halftime show. He funneled off, what was it, like 11 million people to watch their halftime show, and they thought, oh, it's just going to be some little, you got how many viewers? And still it's being viewed. It's like, I was going to look at it, and I haven't yet, but it's got to be 15, 20 million viewers.
I think it was 11 million by the next morning at that time.
Yeah.
And it's like, and even the media called it out. At first they said, oh, it was only like 38,000. It's like, I don't think that it is. Yeah, it doesn't sound right at all. But
no. So yeah, it's all this stuff of, I get so tired of hearing, oh, and this is the first Indian national that's part Iranian, and they're the ones. What? Boy, you are grasping at straws.
Us being in our 60s, we've known a lot of Americans from different places in the country. I've lived in 7 different states. And it's like, I've known people from all walks of life, Hispanic, Venezuelan, I mean, black, white, Asian. Nobody cares about race. Truly, nobody cares. Whether it's a black guy that goes in space or a Hispanic guy or even if a guy that pretends to be a girl, nobody cares. I don't care. It's like, it's kind of cool that they went.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know what, they're there and you're a good person. I don't care if you're pink or orange. It really doesn't make any difference. If you're a good human being, you're a good person, and that's all there is to it. Doesn't matter what color.
And the media is trying to make it sound like this is such a historic thing. And it may be for the moon specifically, but there's been 23 black astronauts going on missions since 1983. So this is not, and of course they're not going to mention that. Anyway, there's been 23. If you Google that, you'll be able to see the list of names and their pictures and the whole thing. And but yeah, it's okay. You want to play that game. That's what they do.
Yeah, he was very polite about going and saying, we're just humans have done this. This is what we've done as a people. Period.
Smart dude. I'd vote for him. Run for office, I'll vote for you.
She didn't have a follow-up question either, did she?
Nope.
It's like,
because that slap hurt.
Yes, it did.
The virtual slap left a mark.
Oh, and we were talking about the NFL and.
Oh yeah, now we got. Now that we've had a new president for the last 15 months, you think cancel culture isn't a thing anymore, but we were wrong.
What? No.
The woke stupor that we thought we were awake from is not there. Jaden Ivey is a Chicago Bulls, or wasn't a Chicago Bulls player, Bible-believing Christian, said this on his social media while the team was getting geared up to do their Pride Month celebration. Okay, here's.
He goes, no, I'm not wearing that. I won't wear that uniform. I'll wear my old one. I won't wear that one. I'm not doing it.
Here's his exercise of freedom of speech here.
God did not make a man to be with a man. How God did not make a girl to be with a girl. God made a man for the purpose of procreation, to have another child. How can a woman bear a child with a woman? How?
He's entitled to his opinion, right? I mean, isn't that how the left likes to speak? It's like everybody. Anyway, they cut him from the team immediately.
Yeah. It wasn't, well, we're going to have a chat with him. No, it's like, nope. We're not even going to trade you. And he was a pretty regular player. He was pretty good, actually. And
the official reason was conduct detrimental to the team. That's the official reason.
Yeah. He's got lots of things to fall back on for conduct detrimental to the team. They had somebody that beat a spouse or a girlfriend within an inch of their life, and they suspended him 30 days.
He's okay. He had a mistake. He got drunk. It was an oopsie.
Yeah. But dare you mention God, you're out.
Here's Billy Donovan, the Bulls head coach, responding to the question about it.
I think there's a certain level of standards and expectations that are here. We have people from all different walks of life working in the building and players from all different walks of life, right? So the first thing is, everybody comes with their own personal experiences, but one is we got to all be professional. I think there's got to be a high level of respect for one another, and we got to help each other, and then be accountable to those standards. So I think that, from ownership, Jerry and Michael, down to Artemis and Mark in the front office and me as a coach, I think, and even to the players, there's a certain standard that we want to all live by, and we're all responsible to that standard.
So it sounds like you can have different views, but maybe not.
Well, we do have freedom of speech, as we've said in the past. Sometimes you don't have freedom of consequences, but the consequences he's getting, what they did don't match up.
To quote a biblical principle and get fired for it, that's semi-new. New England Patriots running back, also a Bible-believing Christian, responded to the Bulls' tweet about letting Jaden go. And he quoted a Bible verse. He said, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, and for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." That's Matthew 5:10. He also said, "The world calls us crazy, but God calls us sons and daughters." And what's wrong with that? I don't have any issue with that. Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the New England Patriots, was asked about it, and here's how that went.
Travion quoted some Bible verses supporting a Chicago Bulls player who got released for some comments that he made. And I just, how do you measure the line between conduct detrimental to the team, which is why the Bulls released the player in their view, and allowing a 23-year-old to, express his personal beliefs?
I think there is a fine line. I'm going to tell you, I love Travion. I love the person. He cares deeply about our team. He cares deeply about his faith. He cares deeply about his family, his wife, the people in our building. And so I want them to be able to express what they believe in their heart and in their mind, but also want to make sure that they're educated, and we want to be inclusive.
Boy, he started out so well, didn't he?
Right up until the but. Okay, now you got a problem. This is, he was doing really good. I'm going, oh, well, this is all good, positive. But, okay, that means everything I just said? Yeah, screw that. It doesn't mean anything.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, you need to be educated. And we need to take that little bit of Christianity out of you, that there's a right and wrong, there's sin and there's not. If you want to believe, look, if it was a Muslim on there that said that, would they have done the same thing if it was a Muslim player? I don't think so. I really don't believe so.
But
anyway, and to be inclusive, none of these lefties ever worry about making us Christians be inclusive or feel included in anything.
Nope.
And we'll have to wait and see how how things go for him in New England. If he gets cut, you'll know why. I don't know. Anyway,
it's just wrong. It's just didn't say anything wrong. Just quoted a verse, and that's it. And then you got a reporter that wants to get the shovel out and dig that back up because we need to, throw some manure on it. Let's go.
Just in case you didn't see this again, I'm gonna quote it again. I don't know. But then again, being a Christian in the United States of America, and who would have ever thought that I've been a Christian for 30 years now? It's like I can't imagine. I would not have imagined 30 years ago that we'd end up here. I just wouldn't have. But that's where we are, and Christianity is going to be more and more attacked. I think as we get closer to end times, I don't know. Obviously, we're closer. And,
you can't even hardly do unto others as they do unto you. You can't even do that anymore. No. And it's the way I was always taught and always have tried to be. So it is what it is.
Anything that has to do with the LGBT alphabet mob, I mean, they have a strong ally in the media, and you can't be right. So,
well, I think that's I don't know about you, but I am needing to clean things. I got to go brush when we're done here. See if that helps.
We have a Paul Harvey Rest of the story that Richard sent me a bunch of them. I got to start recording.
I found a bunch and just kept sending him. I'm going, well, he's not doing well. We may do the podcast again, and now they're going to come in handy.
Here we are. This is a Rest of the story about a horse rider that, at least if you're this old, you've heard of this guy. So, and now
the rest of the story. Harvey and Frank came to, sprawled on the roadside. The two teenagers had been thrown from Harvey Markham's Model T when the brakes failed going around a curve. They were fortunate to have been hurled free of the car, which promptly thereafter rolled and was demolished. Frank was first to regain his senses. He called to Harvey, "Are you all right?" Harvey struggled to his knees, answered in the affirmative. But that's when Frank felt the stabbing pain in his hip and unwittingly shook hands with the rest of his life. For this is the rest of the story. Frank's father took him home. The boy would be fine after a good night's rest, he reassured him, but the following morning the bad hip felt hot and Frank could scarcely move. The family doctor was called. Could the boy walk, the physician asked. Upon learning that he could, although with great difficulty, the doctor said probably some torn muscles, nothing serious. So Frank tried to ignore it, but the harder he tried, the more it hurt. A couple of days later, he limped into the doctor's office asking to be examined. No need, the physician insisted, just get some exercise. So Frank exercised to the extent that he was able, but the pain was debilitating now to the point that it kept him out of school. So, back to the doctors. Over the boy's protests, the physician explained that as long as he was walking, the injury must not be all that bad. And then he made a remarkable prescription, horseback riding. There was nothing in the world like horseback riding to get a young man in shape, the doctor said. Well, Frank's father owned a ranch, the 7 Bar 9, no better place to learn how to ride a horse. And that's how a Montana teenager with a bad hip was transformed into an honest-to-goodness riding, roping, bull-wrestling, dust-eating cowboy. The hip continued to ache, pretty much for the rest of Frank's life. It was not until years later, however, not until X-ray was available, that another physician discovered that indeed Frank's hip had been badly broken, but had healed on its own, but had realigned itself unnaturally. Nonetheless, it was a lucky thing that Frank's family doctor had suggested he learn to ride. For after Frank quit cowboying, he moved farther west, yet he was able to find work only as a mounted extra in motion pictures for $10 a day, $5 more if he'd take a stunt fall. Frank rode a horse in the background of dozens of cowboy movies. It was as a mounted extra that his otherwise attributes were noticed by producers. For once upon a time, 2 teenagers were driving to school in a Model T. One of them collided with his own destiny. The family doctor who prescribed the equestrian cure for Frank's hip has long since been forgotten. And yet that one odd piece of medical advice indirectly gave birth to one of the greatest Hollywood careers of all time. Of course, you know Frank James Cooper as Gary Cooper. Only now you know the rest of the story.
If you're a youngster, you may have to Google him, but yeah.
There's lots of black and white movies, and there's some colored ones, but there's a lot of black and white ones. And if you go on the Google machine, YouTube, you can find probably a lot of Gary Cooper movies.
Probably.
So
He's a
I
handsome
found that
fellow.
interesting. And it kind of, that one I went, I have to send that one along, because at the time I was recovering from my hip surgery. And
Very appropriate, yes.
when I went and saw the physician's assistant at the 11-day mark, I said, it feels like my right leg is longer than the other one, because I'd been probably 30 plus years of having a shorter leg. Well, I'd shoved that thing up into the socket so far. That's why I was having numbness in my right leg. If I'd stand too long in one place, it would just go numb all the way up and down the outside. And so they fixed it. He goes, no, they're both equal. I wasn't trying to tell you that it felt longer. I'm saying it seemed like it because I'd been walking like this for so long. Well, now I'm walking like this. So, and the one thing it did cure, I've always had kind of a throb in my back running route. I just figured that was the cause for it. Nope. So, yeah, riding a horse to get better. I can't do it. I'm very allergic. So,
well, you know, he got a little bit too defensive, I think. But
yeah, that's all right. That's I am glad to have it for getting fixed up. So we're done today. A little early for us.
Yeah, and maybe next week it'll be a little bit longer. We hope you were somewhat informed and had fun like we did. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, Rumble, or wherever you find those pesky little podcasts.
That's right, and if that's too difficult, you can just go to our good old website of StayOffMyLawn.us for all our past and present episodes.
And we're so old, we'll have to say, God willing, we'll see you next week.
The creek don't rise and the corn don't fall.
The creek is Indian, so I mean, that's another song. We'll see you next week, folks.
Thanks so much for listening, folks, and we're back in the saddle again. Anyhow, we're going to give her another shot. We'll see you again next week. Thanks again for staying with us.
Have a good one.
Toodles. Well, we had fun, and hope you did too. The opinions heard here today are not those of anyone other than Mike and Richard. If it made you laugh, or go, or even, then we've done our job. Sort of. Well, mostly anyway. And if we made you think about things in a common sense manner, we welcome you to the club. And if it didn't, then just stay off my lawn. See you next time.